Hi, I'm Lanny and this is Preserving Today, a Greener Postures project. Alright, today's video I want to show you how I do kombucha in my home. So I use Jun Kombucha. Jun is a type of kombucha Scoby that is grown and maintained using honey and green tea, whereas a traditional kombucha Scoby uses black tea and sugar. Scoby stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. You'll also sometimes hear people call it a mother. This is the bacteria and yeast that you're going to use to ferment your sweet tea and turn it into kombucha. Every time you brew a batch, a new Scoby grows, and you can split that off into new jars and make more, or you can share them with friends. For me specifically, I make a gallon of Jun Kombucha at a time, and to do that, I use organic green tea bags, and that's 8 bags for 1 gallon batch of kombucha. So first I unwrap all these bags of tea and I put them into a quart-sized jar. I use this clip to clip the tea bag strings to the rim of the jar so that they don't fall down inside the jar when I pour the hot liquid in. That is always super annoying when that happens. So I boil some water in my tea kettle and pour that over, and I'm just gonna steep this tea for 10 minutes. When 10 minutes is up, I remove the tea bags, and now I need to sweeten this tea. 1 gallon of Jun Kombucha takes 1 cup of honey. So I measure out a cup of honey and mix that into the hot tea. Now you might be wondering why I'm making this strong tea and super sweet in a quart-sized jar. That's only 4 cups of liquid. Well, I'm doing that because I just need this hot enough to steep the tea and melt the honey, and then I need to cool it down enough to add it in with my kombucha Scoby. So instead of making a whole gallon of super hot tea and then waiting all day for it to cool down, I make a quart of hot tea and then mix that with cold water to make it the correct temperature to add to my Scoby. 70 to 90 degrees is an appropriate temperature. Now that I have the hot tea sweetened, I'm just gonna pour this into a half-gallon size jar and fill the rest with cold water. And this will get the sweet tea mixture to the correct temperature faster. I just set that aside for now, and I'm going to get my new jar ready and finish my old jar of kombucha. Kombucha is a perpetual ferment, or a rhythm fermentation. That means that every time you finish a batch of kombucha, you're starting a new batch. So here today, I'm finishing my gallon of kombucha that's been on the counter for about 20 days, and I'm starting a new batch of kombucha. So from the current batch of kombucha, I need my Scoby, or mother, which is this jellyfish, gelatinous, weird alien creature, disc thing that floats on top. And you can see here, it's getting pretty thick. I just need 1 of these. They'll continue to grow multiple layers the longer you leave it. So I'm gonna remove just 1 for my new batch, and I'm gonna put the others into a hotel. A Scoby Hotel is just a place where you can store your Scobies. You store it in the same sweet tea mixture with honey and green tea for Jun, or black tea and sugar for regular kombucha, and you can set that aside for a long time at room temperature to just store them until you're ready to use them. So for my new batch of kombucha, I need 1 cup of kombucha and the Scoby from my current batch. So I pull the 1 cup out with my Scoby and I put that into my new clean gallon-sized jar. Now I can set that aside, and I'm gonna work on my current kombucha. Brewing kombucha is 2 steps. There's your primary fermentation, where you turn your sweet tea into kombucha. When that's finished, you can choose to ferment that beverage further by adding some other source of sugar as food for the yeast and bacteria, and then you bottle that under pressure so that the carbon dioxide will collect, making your kombucha carbonated, nice and fizzy. So the second fermentation is a wonderful part of the process. It makes a delicious drink, but it is absolutely optional. So for your second fermentation, you could add anything you want. Today I'm going to use up this cherry syrup I have. Last year, when cherries were ripe around the 4th of July of 2021, I pitted 15 pounds of cherries, which is an arduous task. I made cherry pie filling, and part of that is collecting the juice of the cherries. And I had a surplus of the juice, more than I needed for my cherry pie filling recipe, which I then canned. So with this extra cherry juice, I decided to make a cherry syrup. For here, all I'm using is the just cherry syrup. This is going to be cherry flavored Jun. And the next step after it's all mixed in is to bottle it. So again, this was my finished fermented kombucha, now mixed with cherry syrup. And I'm using this funnel and this ladle to fill these swing top bottles. And in the description of this video, I'll put links to the items that I'm using here. These swing top bottles are really great, and they were pretty cheap considering from Amazon. So after all that is bottled, I want to label my bottles for sure. So I use just masking tape and a Sharpie, and I'm going to write the flavor, the number of days that I did my first ferment, and the date that I started my second ferment. And before I move these to the fridge, I actually write how many days I left them for the second fermentation. The reason I write all this on the bottle is because if I open this and it's the best kombucha I've ever had in my whole life, I definitely want to know what I did to get to that point. So after these are bottled, they're gonna sit on the counter for another like 1 to 7 days. I recommend using the plastic bottle trick. And I first heard of this from Sandor Katz in his book Wild Fermentation. You use a plastic bottle of similar size to your swing top bottles, and I'm using these Kirkland brand sparkling waters that I buy them by the case at Costco just for this purpose. You can drink the sparkling water, save these bottles, and then fill them at the same time, seal them, and then the bottle is squishy on the sides right now, but as the pressure builds up, it's gonna get hard. So when the bottle's hard, I know it's time to move everybody into the fridge. Next step is back into starting my new kombucha, and I've had the tea sitting aside. I'm going to add some water into my gallon-sized jar and then add the warm tea into it as well. So I just make sure that I don't shock my Scoby with anything too hot. Get everything in, and then I'm going to add more water to fill this to the top. When that's all done, I cover this with a coffee filter and a rubber band. The coffee filter prevents dust, debris, insects from getting inside my brew, and it also allows the CO2 to escape, which will be created during the fermentation process. We have our Jun Kombucha Scoby in the sweet tea mixture in a gallon-sized jar with a breathable lid, and this will sit on the counter from anywhere from 7 to 40 days, and that is a huge window of time. If you like sweet kombucha with not much of a sour taste, you'll want to do it a shorter end, and if you like yours more sour or vinegary, you can go for much longer. So that's it. I probably left out a million details, but the real learning happens when you do things, and it happens when you experiment. To do that, you can get a Scoby from a friend, or you can order a Scoby online. Cultures for Health sells Scobies, and that's where I got my Jun Scoby. And I'll put an Amazon link to the Cultures for Health Scobies in the description. I hope you found this video helpful of how I do this in my kitchen. There's a million different ways to do things, so make sure to explore. If this doesn't feel like it fits you well, watch a lot of other videos, read a lot of articles, and just get into it. The real learning happens when you start in your kitchen. Thanks for watching. I'm Lanny, and this was Preserving Today.